Plantar fasciitis hurts like hell. Every step that you take feels like someone's shooting a knife up your leg, and it's really, really common. 2 million people in the US alone every single year seek treatment, and 1 in 10 develop it at some point in their life. If you don't have it right now, you might very, very soon. So stick around as I show you the exact methods that I use as a veteran strength conditioning coach to identify, treat, and fix plantar fasciitis. The first thing that you need to understand is that plantar fascia pain is not an inflammatory problem, which is why resting it might provide some very temporary relief, but really you're just masking the symptoms. You're not actually fixing the root cause of the problem, which is why it will always come back. The real cause of your pain is actually the result of tissue death. Most commonly, that's caused by the shoes that you wear.
You only have yourself to blame. It's a lie.
And we know this as a result of some work done by a doctor called Harvey Lamont in 2003. Lamont was a podiatrist who also did fasciotomy surgeries. He actually went in and took 50 biopsies from his patients right in the underside of the foot. Now, if you've got plantar fascia pain, you're going to know exactly where I'm talking about right now. When he took those biopsies, it was at a time when the entire podiatry world, himself included, expected to see inflammation in the tissue. But what he actually found was dead tissue, and this is why. A lot of people wear shoes like this that are raised at the heel. They've got these thicker heels, and also raised at the toe. They've got this sort of up kick at the toe, and it's actually a really common foot position that household trainer brands are putting the foot into, because this U-shaped position helps with the heel strike when running, and that's what these shoes are ultimately designed for. But the byproduct is that this is not a very normal, it's not very natural, it's not very healthy position for your foot. That U position actually stretches out the entire bottom part of the foot, and now we've got a lot of stretch going into the plantar fascia. Remember, we are born without shoes. Our bodies and our feet are meant to move and absorb, but because the shoes, they're very cushioned, they're very stiff, we've spent a lot of time in very unnatural positions, so our body does what it always does, and it adapts in the same way that it did with the old practice of lotus feet. And amongst all the other things, our foot muscles start getting weaker. We start setting the scene for some tissue decay, but the straw that breaks the camel's back are the narrow toe boxes, which smash the big toe in just like that. Now, how does that then relate to plantar fascia pain? Well, there's a very small blood vessel called your lateral plantar artery, which is the branch of some of the bigger arteries of the lower leg. And the lateral plantar artery branches off and runs right underneath here, and it supplies the plantar fascia area. What happens is when the foot is held for an extended period of time in an elevated and abducted position, a muscle called your abductor hallucis, this one right here, is pulled very tight against the side. You can actually see it move when I pull this toe in to that elevated abducted position, and that pinches off the lateral plantar artery, limiting the supply of blood to the foot, causing the localized decay, creating that plantar fascia pain. If you've never had it, there's a very small chance that you might not get it. Some people actually compensate by sending more blood to the area, so they live their entire lives wearing shoes like this without developing plantar problems. But there are lots of other issues that can come up instead, like bunions, Achilles issues, knee pain, and I did a whole video on that you can find just up here. Does that mean that you need to spend the rest of your life living with plantar fasciitis? No. Fixing that knife into the bottom of your foot pain is definitely doable. I've done it myself with my clients, and all it takes is 3 easy steps to get that blood flowing. The first one though is so obvious that I'm not going to include it in those 3 steps, and that's getting rid of shoes like these very stiff, rigid, horrible, narrow toe box shoes. Instead, what you're going to do is you're going to get yourself a nice pair of barefoot shoes like these. They're 0 drop, they've got no cushioning, they've got a really nice wide toe box, everything that you need to build a strong and capable base. These ones are from Vivo Barefoot. I'll link them down below, and you can get 10% off their entire website with the code GT10. Alternatively, you can hit that subscribe button for automatic entry into my 10,000 subscriber giveaway, where 1 lucky subscriber will win a $1,000 Barefoot mystery box. I'm going to be leaving clues for what's in that mystery box in the coming videos, but a little birdie did tell me that there's guaranteed to be a pair of barefoot shoes just like this one of your choice. So if you like this video so far, hit that subscribe button for automatic entry into the draw. So step one is just spending 2 to 3 minutes each day just rolling the underside of your foot on something like this. Now, this is something that you can do at home with a golf ball, a tennis ball, a lacrosse ball, something hard, and you're just gonna roll the bottom of your foot, and that's gonna help bring that blood flow and circulation back into that area. It's probably going to be a little bit uncomfortable just to start off with, especially if you've been having a lot of intense plantar fascia pain, but don't worry about it. It's going to feel a little bit better once you've done it. Even if you haven't got that intense plantar fascia pain, you're probably going to be feeling some pops and crackles. And a fun proof of concept for this one, for barefoot shoes in general, is to measure your forward fold, just reaching down towards your toes. Before doing this, do the underfoot stretch for a couple of minutes per side, and then do the same test again. You are going to find that you get so much further down, and that's what barefoot shoes are doing to the bottom of your foot the whole time that you're wearing them. Super easy to see how useful they are. When you're rolling, you need to make sure that your toes are moving as well. Extend them, flex them, get on the inside of that foot, the outside. 2 to 3 minutes, a few times a day, I guarantee you will notice the difference immediately. Step 2 is, once we're done with that, we need to help that big toe spread out. Because remember, your toes are being held in this very clammed up position because of that narrow toe box. I like to use toe spacers just like these ones from Correct Toes. They're super useful, especially if you're a beginner to all this stuff. You can get very cheap and cheerful ones on Amazon as well. Alternatively, you can do it manually, but what you're looking to do here is either put those toe spacers on and then massage this gap in between your toes here, or just start manually stretching that toe out to the side while you're hitting those trigger points between your toes. It's just a little soft tissue stretch that can be really helpful. Play around with it for 1 to 2 minutes a day, a couple of times a day, after you finish rolling the underside of your foot. And lastly, we do need a little bit of yin to our yang. We're spending a lot of time on the bottom of our foot. That plantar was already being stretched out a lot in that U shape of our shoes. So what I want you to do now is I want you to grab your toes and I want you to pull them down towards the sole of your foot, which is going to put the muscles and ligaments on the top of your foot into a lengthened position. Again, mobility by definition is the ability to move or be moved freely and easily. It's by increasing your mobility that we're going to restore blood flow and strength to that area. So really important here that you don't miss that last step. So now we're at the point where we're restoring circulation. You've got your big toe free and able to move, and the extensors have been put into that nice lengthened position. You should at this point be feeling pretty good now. This is where you want to monopolize on that success. If you've got barefoot shoes, you can actually technically skip this step as they do this for you, as shown in a recent study where wearing shoes like these, barefoot shoes from Vivo Barefoot, for 6 months actually saw a 60% increase in foot strength. But if you don't have a pair, what I want you to do is I want you to grab the ground and engage those toes, and basically you're trying to squeeze the floor, the same as if you're trying to crush an orange in your hand. And if you're struggling to wrap your mind around that, what I want you to do is I want you to set a pen on the ground, and for 20 to 30 reps, you're going to engage your toes to try and grab that pen and start developing that underfoot strength, effectively guaranteeing that you're never going to develop plantar fasciitis again. So ditch the shoes that elevate your heel and are super narrow in the toe in favor of some barefoot shoes, and let's start restoring natural foot mechanics, eliminating pain and getting our healthy feet back. The last step before you guys are done watching this video is make sure you comment below with your experiences. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe as well, so that you don't miss out on some more super niche barefoot strength content. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.